Welcome to another episode of Zero to 60. On this one, I'm fitting my new rocker cover. But before I get into that, I need to give you guys an update because things are not going to plan. Who would have thought? So this is going to end up being a bit confusing, but the way you guys are going to see this now, a week ago, we started blasting the intake valves. Now, when you finally see that video, when it's finally finished, you'll see that we started the process with a wonderfully cheap, crappy blaster. And I couldn't get it to work, just couldn't get the walnut to flow properly. I then got one of these ordered Monday or Tuesday. It arrived yesterday, and lo and behold, same problem. Now, I've never done walnut blasting before and didn't really know what the media was supposed to look like. I ordered it through an automotive store who told me it was for intakes. And it turns out the stuff that I got supplied was for tumbling. So the size of the walnut was just slightly too big to go through the sandblasters. Long story short, it was just taking ages because the blasters kept clogging up. So I've done like half of cylinder one. I've ordered the correct walnut media, but I probably won't see it till next week now. So just a pain in the backside, but there are more videos coming, but that's why we've had a bit of a delay in getting the port injection on. But back to this video, we have a brand new Chinesium rocker cover. I went with it because it's the cheapest one I get my hands on, and again, it's a matter of trying to find out and see if these cheap ones are any good. I did do a rocker cover gasket when I first got this vehicle. Actually, I'm just going to move this over to a safe spot. So I did do a rocker cover gasket on this when I first got it. Now, unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't really aware of how prone these are to cracking. And this one is cracked. I didn't realize. I'll put up a picture, but there is a small crack just in there. In fact, you know what? Let's get into taking it off and I'll show you guys what's going on inside this in a few minutes. Alright guys, so we have the original rocker cover out, and I've already taken the oil cap and little bits off, but looking at the quality of the aftermarket one, it's actually not too bad. Slightly different finish to the genuine. It could just be that mine's old. This is the original rocker cover, I believe. Yeah, this is slightly more glossy, where that's more of a matte finish. It kind of reminds me of the more like an N55 rocker cover. Again, could just be my warped perception because it's old. The only thing that I wasn't expecting to do, the bracket for the front, the new one didn't come with this bracket, it just came with two little clippy things. So I have had to swap the bracket from my original one. I've also got to swap my aluminium PCV valve over. But apart from that, I think she's ready to go back in. I have spent quite some time cleaning all the surfaces just to make sure that the new gasket's going to seal properly. Actually, while we're just talking about a few things, the gasket that is on my original one, which was replaced probably 5 months ago, it's actually not too bad. Like, it doesn't look like it's actually died anywhere apart from in this section. It's actually tucked down underneath the plastic lip, and it's gone a bit hard. This was a cheap $40 gasket, I don't think it was leaking, but it's harder than I'd like, considering it's only not even a year old. It's probably a reason everyone recommends getting the genuine gaskets. And to be fair, if you get them through FCP, they're not much dearer than these $40 eBay ones. That's 40 Aussie. Hopefully this $200 rocker cover, which has probably got the same quality of gasket, lasts a bit longer. But yeah, she all looks quite good. I've just got to re-clean this and get it put back in after I sort the PCV. So I'm going to get onto that, and I'll see you guys shortly. Okay, so PCV valve swapped over, gasket's all cleaned. Trying to see if I can show you that PCV. Billet aluminium. Cool. Now I have given this a wipe because there was some dust on it. I've actually had this for quite a few months, to be fair. However, one thing I just wanted to notice, if you do buy one of these rocker covers, make sure that you sit the sleeves right down flush where their final resting place is going to be. I noticed that a couple of these were 2 or 3 mil, actually some were like 5 mil down away from the seating point. And the problem with that is, as you clamped everything down, it would have pinched the gasket, because the gasket actually comes over the sleeve slot. So just keep that in mind if you do buy one of these super cheap rocker covers. Well guys, because it's a two-handed job, I'm now going to go and get it put back in the old girl. So depending on what the time lapse showed you, it's all in. The camera actually went flat whilst I was putting it back on. It took a bit longer than I thought it would. This is the third time I've done a rocker cover on a N54, and it's the first time I freaked out about the gasket not sitting on the bottom. So I ended up halfway through the torque sequence, which takes ages. I ended up taking everything off just to make sure the gasket was seated properly down the bottom. Absolute waste of time, but I'd much rather double check everything. The one other thing that I haven't finished in this gasket job just yet is the O-ring on that little hose there. I want to replace that. It feels quite hard, and I reckon there was a little bit of an oil leak coming out of there before, so I'm gonna replace that O-ring just so it seals properly, and that's the hose that goes to the catch can. But yeah, aside from that, the aftermarket rocker cover does seem to fit fine. I was worried about fitment issues, like in tolerances areas where those hoses go in, but it's all gone on really well, and it looks a hell of a lot nicer than my old one did. Yeah, and I probably should have mentioned at the start of the video, but the reason I wanted to do this rocker cover, well, my one had a crack, but a lot of people have issues with their rocker covers, and again, as we start winding the boost up, I just wanted to know that I've got a good one in there. And then I ended up just buying a really cheap one anyway. So we'll see how it goes. If you've got any questions about doing rocker cover gasket, hit me up in the comments below. Or actually what I might do, I might put a link to a good DIY, because this is quite it's not a difficult job, but it's quite a time consuming, complex thing to complete. And it's easy to make a mistake if you don't follow the procedures properly. Yeah, and this is probably one of the few things that I would really recommend using a torque wrench on. It's very easy to snap the aluminium bolts, especially if you are reusing the original ones. ask me how I know. But yeah, no, that's all done. Now, after this, it's just straight on to finishing the walnut blasting, which hopefully I'll be able to do Monday or Tuesday when that correct walnut arrives. Look guys, thank you very much for watching. We will catch you on the next one.